Hello, everybody, and welcome to my 10th and final top 10 list, at least for now. In celebration of hitting 10,000 subscribers, I asked my viewers to come up with 10 top 10 lists of any topic that they thought would be interesting or entertaining for me to compose. Today, we will be talking about my top 10 gingers featured on my channel. Special thanks to VV Oakley for requesting this super fun list. Just a disclaimer that I may bring up some light spoilers for the games that these characters appear in. In order to help you out with spoilers, I included timestamps of each entry in the description below, so be fairly warned. So yeah, I wanted to end this top 10 list series with something that's just purely fun. So, without further ado, here are my top 10 gingers. Number 10. Arthur from Telltale Games' Game of Thrones. This character didn't particularly have that prominent of a role in the Telltale games, but he was a super cool archer character with a super cool personality. The one moment that really won me over, though, was this infamous part.
Why do you keep looking at me? See something you like?
What can I say? Arthur is a textbook example of just why I am a total sucker for the redheads. Number 9. The Jerrys from Detroit Become Human. These guys were a set of androids that befriended Kara and helped her along the way in her arc. The guys always seemed to be in an upbeat mood, ready to put a smile on your face, especially if you were a child. And they were also downright loyal. The Jerrys as a whole were even willing to sacrifice themselves so that Kara and her newly assembled family could make it to Canada unscathed. And if the events of Detroit Become Human ever happen in real life, I'd buy every single one of those Jerrys their freedom in a heartbeat if I could. And then maybe I'd have my own special ginger harem at that point. Oh, this is getting weird. Let's move on to number 8. Number 8. Sherwin from In a Heartbeat. So technically, Sherwin is not from a video game. Instead, he's actually a character from a game-changing short, In a Heartbeat, which I reacted to on my channel. I'll put a link in the description below for you to check it out. I highly recommend everyone seeing the original short if you haven't already. The reason why I love Sherwin so much is because I could 100% relate to him. The things he went through in the story were all things I also struggled through as well when I was his age. And it's also something that countless others have been through as well. I was happy to watch his story unfold because his story was also mine, and all I wanted to do was just hug that guy and comfort him and let him know that everything will get better in the end. Number 7. Liliana from the Dragon Age series. Liliana was a fan favorite throughout the Dragon Age series. When you first meet her, you're not exactly sure what to think of her really. Do you take her at face value, or is there a lot more to her than what she originally seems to exude? You discover later just how complex and layered her character really is, and the fact that she appears in all 3 games so far was just fine by me. She is a person of faith, at least for the most part, which is something that I personally can relate to, and she can kick some serious hiney when she has to. A strong female character that I always enjoy having on my side, because, let's face it, I would hate to have her be an enemy of mine, that's for sure. Number 6. Cassia from Solstice. If you've been on my channel for any significant period of time, you know that I'd absolutely adore games that allows you to romance other characters. But the biggest issue I had is that most of the time, the type of characters I'm most interested in romancing are the ones who are reserved only for straight female protagonists. I'm talking about the Boy Scout, Knight in Shining Armor kind of characters, like Alistair or Cullen in Dragon Age. So for the longest time, I just couldn't find a game that provided that type of romance for me, until I played Solstice. And not only was Cassia a ginger who was exactly the type I was looking for, he was an exclusively gay character that could only be romanced by the male protagonist. Now that, I have to admit, was super cool. He was that itch that I could finally scratch, and boy, did I take advantage of that. Number 5. Clive Shepard from the Mass Effect trilogy. The Mass Effect series will always hold a special place in my heart, since Mass Effect 3 was the very first Let's Play I ever did on my channel. So it stands to reason that my main protagonist, Clive Shepard, had to make this list at some point. A paragon Shepard with renegade tendencies, lover of both Steve Cortez and Kaden Alenko in 2 different universes, and just a total bad A when he needed to be, which was quite often. I still miss my Shepard to this day. Number 4. Gabriel from Fallout 4. Even though it wasn't scripted in the game, my Fallout 4 main protagonist, Gabriel, had a lot of character development, even more so than my Shepard, believe it or not. From the beginning, I was able to flesh out a fairly thorough backstory for him, and that backstory helped drive a lot of Gabriel's actions and thoughts throughout the game. Granted, a lot of it was internal, as I took a generous amount of time pausing my gameplay to explain what thought processes were going through Gabriel's head concerning the current situation, and how it evolved his character and even way of thinking. I grew so attached to Gabriel, even more so than I ever expected from a Fallout game, and cared so deeply about his relationships too. MacCready in particular, of course. And Gabriel always knew how to dress stylishly, even in a post-apocalyptic wasteland. Number 3. Damien from Seduce Me 1 and 2. I enjoyed all the guys in this Otome dating sim, but Damien was the one I instantly gravitated to. And it wasn't only because of his hair color. I just really loved his shy, sweet, and humble personality. But despite his soft-spoken nature, he was also loyal and protective, and wasn't shy about defending those he loved. But even when he does need to resort to violence, he feels remorse for it, which I find quite admirable and sexy. That, and he has a super cool gift of being able to read minds, an ability unique among his other brothers. Damien is a sweet, sweet cinnamon roll, and I absolutely adore him for it. Number 2. Chance Gallagher from the Wizarding World Circle of Fate tabletop campaign. Again, Chance is not a character from a video game, but he is a character in my current tabletop RPG. He is a student who attends Castelo Bruxo, the wizarding school in Brazil, and best friend of one of the PCs, Levi Lionheart. He's funny, charming, and loves to dance. He's also a leprechaun. Who wouldn't want to be friends with a guy like that? Especially when luck is on your side. Not to mention that awesome accent. And his friendship with Levi is just beautiful. But there's also a serious side to him too, especially when it comes to the way the Ministry of Magic treats him and people like him as non-beings, which unfortunately closes a lot of doors for him out in the real world. I can't wait to see what's in store for Chance next. And my number one favorite ginger featured on my channel is Sir Gilmore from Dragon Age Origins. A lot of you probably saw this coming a mile away. Though Sir Gilmore is a character that appears in the vanilla version of Dragon Age Origins, he isn't actually a playable companion unless you acquire the incredible fan-made DLC that allows him to join your group. And in doing so, you get to learn a lot more about this hunky redhead warrior. He's gentle, kind, and genuinely interested in getting to know you. He's also very flexible in that you can have whatever kind of relationship you want with him, from a one-night stand to a more serious, committed relationship to just a really strong friendship. And again, not only can you adventure with him in the main game, you can also have him tag along in the Awakening DLC as well. Sure, he may not be part of the original game, but that doesn't matter to me. Sir Gilmore is a canon character in Origins as far as I'm concerned, and he will forever be ingrained on my personal Dragon Age tapestry mural. So, that's it everyone. I hope you all enjoyed this entire series of top 10 lists. I had a lot of fun making them, but I could always make more if you guys were able to provide some interesting topics. Let me know in the comments what other top 10 lists you'd like me to create, and in due time, I may just post some of them. Thanks again for watching, and as always, love yourselves and love each other.